right, folks, moving from lysosomes, which was our last organelle we talked about, the stomach, the digestive system of the cell, and now we're moving into something called vacuoles. Well, spoiler alert, lysosomes are vacuoles, and vacuoles are technically lysosomes. The only difference between the two is that lysosomes have those digestive enzymes, and vacuoles, well, they're just kind of filled with fluid and transport molecules to different places inside the cell. So a vacuole is basically a storage area inside the cell. It's like a closet, or it's like a shuttle, like a truck taking things places. Vacuoles do no digesting like their cousin, the lysosome, because they don't have the digestive enzymes necessary to do such digesting. And a vacuole can store many things: water, salts, proteins, carbohydrates. We'll find out when we get to plant cells that plant cells actually have a vacuole filled with water inside them, and it is huge. In fact, it takes up the majority of the inside of a plant cell. So vacuoles do play important roles. They're like little shuttle buses for certain molecules to go places. For instance, back when we talked about the ER and proteins being made on the rough ER by the ribosomes, and then those proteins getting shipped out, those proteins get shipped out into the cytoplasm, which is that fluid that fills the inside of the cell, in vacuoles, and they end up at the Golgi apparatus in vacuoles. So vacuoles are like little shuttle buses throughout the cell. The mitochondria. You might know this thing best as the powerhouse of the cell, but really it's like the energy center of the cell. Power and energy are different things, so it's the energy center of the cell for our understanding. We're going to learn a lot more about it than just its ability to produce energy. So, just to relate to what you guys already know, the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, but I would like to call it the energy center of the cell if we could. And the mitochondria is always going to be depicted in this way, with these kind of folded up membranes inside of it and this kind of almost bean-looking shape. But what is the purpose of the mitochondria? What role does it serve? Cellular respiration. This is an entire process that we are going to focus on throughout this class. We're going to talk about cellular respiration pretty heavily, and we're going to get a good understanding of it. What is cellular respiration? It's the process that your cells undergo to convert glucose, sugar molecules, carbohydrates, right, into a usable form of energy. Because that sugar you take in your normal diet, those carbs you take in your normal diet, that's not the stuff your body uses for energy. That's the stuff your body uses to make the energy you need. And that energy you need is called ATP. It is a chemical made from carbohydrates, like glucose, that powers literally everything in your body. ATP is responsible for all of your energy. A little bit more about the mitochondria here. The mitochondria, they do have an inner and an outer membrane. We have a cartoon up here that shows you the outer membrane. I have cut it in half, as I like to do, to show you the inside here. An outer membrane, and then it has this folded up inner membrane. And we see a real mitochondria taken with the microscopic technique, electron microscopy, where we see the outer membrane here, and then we see these inner foldings of the inner membrane going across it, almost like stripes, but that is this inner membrane. We call the folds on the inner membrane cristae. Okay, we call the folds on the inner membrane cristae. These indentations, these folds, how it almost looks like a folded up bed sheet again, just like our rough endoplasmic reticulum did, our smooth ER did, and our Golgi did. We see that same thing here, but we call it a cristae. And the cristae actually increase surface area for respiration. It's the same concept as your brain. If you can think about what your brain looks like, it has all those folds on the outside of it. It looks like real bumpy. That's because your brain, the tissue that makes it up, there's actually so much of it, and to fit it inside your skull, evolution, DNA, has folded it in on itself. And that's kind of what we see here. This membrane is actually legitimately a folded up sheet, if you will, so that it can fit inside this tiny compartment that is the mitochondria. But it does provide a lot of surface area for respiration, the ability to turn glucose into usable energy. And a single cell can have hundreds or even thousands of mitochondria in one single cell. And remember, you're comprised of trillions of cells. So that's a lot of mitochondria. And, fun fact, if there are any athletes watching this, you, as an athlete, as an active person, will generally have more mitochondria in your cells than somebody who is more sedentary in their life, somebody who does more sitting and less activity in their life. Why? Because you, the active person, you need more energy. And mitochondria, they are the energy center of the cell, so your cells will make more of them to make more energy for you. All right, we're getting close, folks. We're almost at the outside of the cell. We're almost at the last organelle. We're going to talk about the cytoskeleton. Yes, in fact, cells do have cytoskeletons. They have skeletons. Not made of bone, though. Made of protein. Big surprise there. And we're going to cover that in the next one, folks. Thank you.